is already here for this masterclass. Thank you all. Before we start, may I request, if it's possible, could you turn on your video? If you're in position, could you turn on your video wherever you are? And in the chat box, we request, could you let us know about yourself, your name, the name of your business, where you're logging in from, and whether you're looking for investment or not. Catherine, good to see you. Thank you for honoring us and logging into this session today, Mwangaza Light. Thanks, Benson. True Books Agency.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Are you logging in from Siaya?
Yes, sir. Siaya, Kenya.
Siaya, Kenya.
Yes, we are harvesting season.
You're harvesting peanuts right now.
Peanuts and maize right now.
Oh, right now you're harvesting maize. If you need maize, if you need peanuts, Benson True Brooks Agency is the guy to go to in Siaya. So if you need solar lighting for cooking, if you need clean energy, then Catherine Schroff is the person to talk to for Mwangaza Light. And thank you to see Paul Kimera. Paul Kimera is one of our entrepreneurs from Uganda. He makes sanitary towels using papyrus, and he's helping children, he's helping school-going children not to miss school because of periods. That is a big challenge, and he's mitigating that. Catherine is mitigating issues to do with the climate change, cutting down of forests, and using firewood for cooking. So she's championing clean energy for lighting and for cooking. And there is many of you here from all across the continent. We have entrepreneurs logging in all the way from South Africa. We have some from Namibia. We have some from Kenya. We have some from Uganda. Thank you so much for logging in. Once again, in the chat box, let us know about you. Tell us your name. Tell us the name of your business. Leave your contact there if you're looking to raise some money. We will be able to reach out to you. But today's session is about from pitch to profit. And we have Mr. Mike Muthengi. Until recently, he was the country manager of Business Partners International and a financier. He's been at the game of helping businesses get financed, but beyond that, he has been helping businesses. He has been financing businesses across the East African region. And he's a friend of TBN. He spoke at our summit. He has been speaking at many of our investor breakfast events that we've had over the years. So join me to welcome Mr. Mike Muthengi to take us through today's masterclass. You're welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Derek. Really appreciate it. Just trying to find my presentation. You give me a minute, I should be there.
Oh, we are seeing your email instead. As Mike is looking for his presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. If you have expectations for this masterclass, feel free to write them in the chat box. It will pick them and we will respond to them.
Derek, give me a minute. I'm just trying to get it working. Is it up now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you, everyone. Like Derek has said, my name is Mike Muthengi. Been in the finance sector for many years, over 20 years, started my career in the commercial banking space, ended up in the development finance. And like Derek has said, my last role in that space was I was a country manager for Business Partners International in Kenya. I have since transitioned late last year. So currently I'm running my own consulting business called Muthengi Consulting. And today we just want to talk a little bit about from pitch to profit. And I just want to approach this from a very interesting aspect and look at it from and I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to pitch their business somewhere, either in an event where there were financials or in a place where you've been given the opportunity to just pitch your business for whatever reason it was. Some of them could have been awards or something different. But I thought of looking at this from two perspectives. Once you finish the pitch, then what happens? So I've split my presentation into two. One to say, so what do you need to do once you finish doing that pitch? And then secondly, thinking about it from an investor's point of view and asking yourself, what does the investor's lens look at when they know you have been pitching or you're pitching and they're trying to figure out, do I like this business? Would I put my money in this business? So the first thing that you need to appreciate is that there's always that debate about financial and the entrepreneur. So I bumped into this somewhere and I thought it was a good illustration. The iceberg illusion. What people see, they see success. When they see your business, they're seeing success, but they don't know what you are going through at the back end of it. What they don't see is the level of dedication you've put into that enterprise. What they don't see is the hard work you've put into that business. What they don't see is the discipline, the number of hours that you have had to run, the disappointments when you go looking for funding, for example, or when you're going to look for something and you don't find, the sacrifices, the failures, the persistence that you've had to go through for this to come to pass. So it's always a very interesting bit. But then on top of that, I wondered, is this iceberg different? Can it be different? Can it be viewed differently? And I chose to call it the investor's iceberg, sorry. And this is the entrepreneur's view. They're looking at it and seeing, I have a great business. That's the way you see it. And you're wondering, why aren't all the investors falling over themselves trying to get me on board? And on the other side, the question is, how is the investor seeing you? Unfortunately, at times, they see you as a struggling business. And why do they see that? And that's part of the conversation I want us to have today. They look at your business vision. They look at your business as a whole. They look at your business focus. They also look at the market. And lastly, they look at the scalability of that business. One of my very good friends, she's called Nyawera, says, you're not your business. And if your business fails, you have not failed. And that's one of the predicament of a lot of entrepreneurs, that if something goes wrong with their business, they always feel that now they are a failure. I got very challenged when I had this particular lady say that if your business fails, you have not necessarily failed. I like this gentleman. He's called Robert Johnson. He's an American entrepreneur. And this is what he says. All businesses, all business is personal. Make your friends before you need them. And it's very interesting because at the end of the day, as a business person, you get caught up there trying to build the business and you forget. And the critical point I'm just trying to drive here is that make friends before you need them, especially when you're in business, just as an opening remark. So what's the business as an entrepreneur after the pitch? So what next? What are you What are you thinking of? How are you planning to move it from there? What next after the pitch? And for me, the point is always when you do a pitch, and for those who've gotten an opportunity to do a pitch, it involves a lot of work. You have to do a lot of planning, you have to do a lot of thinking. The people who are helping you make you do a lot of work around your business. But for me, the point is you need to take it beyond that and document the plan of now the future. Because the pitch, you're trying to sell your business, but now you need to actualize that business. So you need to document that plan. And for me, the first thing that is very critical, you need to come up with objectives for the next 12 months and say, these are the things I am going to do in the next 12 months in my business. And then lay out a strategy, a plan around them. And then assign responsibilities in the organization of those objectives and what you're going to do. Set some very, very clear guidelines on how you're going to achieve those particular things. And I just thought of sharing an example of something that you can very easily do, which then brings clarity to your business. So one of the strategies you could have for your business, and I thought of a business that is running, that is a production business. And this entrepreneur wants to increase their production capacity in 2025. So they need to outlay some very clear objectives that keeps them going just beyond the pitch and say, these are the things I'm going to do. For example, and I picked up out a few things that would be critical. For example, say they need to raise funds for the purchase of a new equipment. And whose responsibility then will that be? The responsibility is the CEO, the owner of the business. They're saying, I take that responsibility to raise funds, and I put a deadline that I must do this by 31st of March of this year. But they need to go beyond that and say, what is the equipment? How does the equipment look? What are the specifications based on what our plant looks like? And the CEO needs to acknowledge that there's somebody who runs the plant if they're not the ones, and they need to get their input and say, we need to identify the specific requirements of that particular equipment we need to purchase. And they put a deadline to it and say, by 31st of January, we need to have clearly articulated what are the specifications of that equipment that we require. Then the plant manager would be required as part of that process to obtain quotations for the required equipment. They already know what it is that they want to do. They already know the kind of equipment they require to be able to deliver what they need to do. So the plant manager then takes the responsibility of going to source for 3 different quotations so that they have a good comparative of what the equipment looks like. Then the plant manager still needs to go back and say, what is the required space? Do we have it in the factory? Where can we create that space? Where is that equipment eventually going to sit? So ensure that is in place and put a deadline for it so that it's very clear this is what is going to happen. Then identify and recruit somebody to run that machine. Plant manager and HR manager. They're going to work around that whole process and put a deadline to it. Installation of the equipment. And last and not least, the training of the new machine operators. What am I trying to demonstrate here is that when you have a pitch, it has a lot, and at times you will hear us telling you, your pitch should not be more than 10 slides. But in those 10 slides, there's a lot of information in the background. So all I am challenging us is to say, when you finish with that pitch, whether accepted by somebody or not, now you need to convert that pitch into reality. And one of the ways of doing that is coming up with a very, very clear plan of how you're going to be able to do this. And this is just a demonstration. Have very clear objectives. First have a very clear strategy of what you want to do. Have clear objectives tied to that strategy. Then the person who is going to be responsible for each objective that you're laying out and the specific timelines so that you're able to track them as you go. So to me, that is the internal bit as an entrepreneur you need to look at. But let's look at it now then and say, the investor lens. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to attract an investor to say, can you put money in my business? So that, for example, I have enough funds to purchase that equipment that I require to be able to expand my capacity. And the first thing, as an investor, that has always caught my attention is the vision of the entrepreneur. What kind of vision do they have? Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Do you have a dream for your business? How clear is that dream for that business that you have? Proverbs 29 and verse 18 says, and the King James Version says, where there's no vision, people perish. The basic Bible English version says, where there's no vision, people are uncontrolled. So you do anything and there will be no direction that you will be taking. And for me, it's therefore very critical for any entrepreneur to have a very clear business vision for their business. Vision is about sight and saying, where am I going? Which direction am I taking? And where will that route that I'm taking take me? When you have that very clear sight, it gives you confidence to go there. So for example, if you say, I want to go to Kisumu, you have clarity that you're going to Kisumu. And therefore, you have the confidence to start going towards Kisumu. Or if you're going to Cape Town, you're saying the direction I am taking is I am going to Cape Town for holiday, for example. So you have confidence to start searching, to start planning for Cape Town. Why? Because that's where you're going. So when you have sight about where your business is going, you have confidence. Then I like saying it this way. When you have a vision, a dream starts from a vision. And therefore, you need to have a dream for your business and say, this is what I am dreaming, to be the largest manufacturer of soya beans, soya flour in Kenya. That's your dream. And therefore, that drives your business. To be the largest producer of something, to be the largest trainer in Kenya, then that becomes your focus. And that, because that's the dream you have, it shapes your vision. The question that I'm asking you right now is, what dream do you have for your business? As an investor, every time an investor is listening to you, they want to have that clarity that you have a vision for your business. And you actually have documented it and you're working towards it. Jesse Zermel says, a vision is a clearly articulated, result-oriented picture of a future you intend to create. It's a dream with direction. Now, a vision has to be clearly articulated. And for me, I narrow down to clear articulation to, you've written it down. At times I say you should even have a picture of it, a real picture of it, so that it gives you purpose as you try to walk towards it. Then that vision has to be result-oriented. It should give you some clarity because you're saying, this is what I want to achieve. There's a result that you want to achieve. And that result must be in the future, and it's something that you want to create. So your business vision must be written, number one. Number two, it must be result-oriented. And number three, it's about the future. At the end of the day, it's about the future that you intend to create. So let's for a minute talk about Apple's vision: to make the best products on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. That's the vision Apple has. And every time Apple is trying to do anything, they're saying, is the product we are creating the best? Is it going to leave the world a better place than we found it? And that's, as an investor, is always looking at that opportunity and saying, is this person's vision clear? Is it something that is going to change something and that I can put my money on? Let's look at Toyota's. Toyota is saying, to create mobility for everyone and to be a leader in the future of mobility. So they're saying they want to create mobility. Look at it. Toyota is not talking about cars. They're talking about mobility, clarity. They've articulated it and they're working towards it. And they say they want to be the leader in the future of mobility. I like this other one, McKinsey and Company. What is their vision? Is to help our clients to make distinctive, lasting, and substantial improvement in their performance, to build a great firm that attracts, develops, excites, and retains exceptional people. That's their vision. That's what they want to do. So every time you hear McKinsey being mentioned somewhere, this is what they're trying to do, to help their clients. That's their goal. That's their objective. And that's what they're rallying to. I thought of Safaricom, a local Kenyan enterprise, and I went looking out, what is Safaricom's vision? To transform beyond being a telco company to being a purpose-led technology company. When Safaricom started, it was more of a telco. Today, they are saying they want to be a technology company. And no wonder they've done extremely well with their M-Pesa proposition. But something else caught my attention when I was looking at their website. It's their purpose. And they're saying to transform lives by connecting people to people, people to opportunity, and people to information. And I thought that was powerful because for any investor who Safaricom approaches, is looking and saying Safaricom is just not a telco. They're a purpose-led technology company. But more so, they want to transform lives, to connect people to people, people to opportunity, people to information. And my challenge to you today, which is the question that any investor is always looking out for, is to say, what's your business's vision? Because as an investor, the question that I would always be asking, do you have a very clear vision for your business? Where is your business headed to? What do you want to achieve your business? Safaricom is saying we want to transform. That's what they want to do. McKinsey is saying they want to help clients. Toyota is saying we want to create mobility, and Apple is saying we want to make the best products. What does your business want to do? Is there clarity about the vision that you're headed towards? It was always very unfortunate as I listened to entrepreneurs, and you can't tell what is the dream that this entrepreneur is chasing. It's a soft thing, and at times it separates between the investor who is going to put money into your business and the one who is not going to put money into your business. Secondly, there is a passion. And the clip that Derek and team played just before this conversation started, I talked about passion in one of the meetings that they had. It was a breakfast meeting. And it's an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. And as an entrepreneur, it's something that gets one excited. It brings happiness and it excites emotions. When I listen to you talking about your business, do I get a sense that you are engrossed in this business? You're so excited about this business and you'd literally do anything for this business. If I look at your balance sheet, if I look at your profit and loss, can I see that your resources are being directed to your passion? Or where do I see your resources going to at the end of the day? Because the balance sheet tells us a lot about your business. Your financials tell us a lot about your business. What are they telling us? Are we able to direct, to see that the resources you have, you're directing them to your passion? Are you using your money to acquire, for example, a 4-wheel drive car for yourself, as opposed to acquiring stocks for your business. So when I go to your balance sheet, I see you have assets. What are the assets? You have a vehicle worth 10 million. But when I go to your I see you only have stock of passion as an entrepreneur in your business. And this will come out from conversations that I will have with you as an investor, because at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. What are the values that you hold? Do they equate to your passion? Because remember, passion gets you started, your mind raves, you talk nonstop, your emotions are high, and listen to you explaining about your products. What am I getting out of it at the end of the day? The good thing about passion is that it leads to growth. And you can see growth. And you can see where growth has been stalled because you don't have sufficient funds. And that's why you're therefore looking for somebody to assist you. But you can see the growth. You can see innovation in that business. You can see expansion. It's one very interesting life is an amazing action space. And every time I go to Khan's workshop, he's always showing me something new he's doing, a new product he's inventing, a new product. And that most of the time, it's not something completely new. He's taken something he's done before and he's amended it or he's improved it and it looks better. Innovation. He's always telling me, I'm opening a new outlet at this location. And you can see the passion in the way he does things. And that's at the end of the day, really what excites me. Because when I think about him and all the times that I invested money in this business as a financier, I knew that my money was in the right pocket. So is your passion evident? As an investor speaks to you, as they listen to you, is it evident that you are passionate about your business? It's like I said earlier, at times it's very unfortunate. You listen to somebody, they have an extremely good business. But as you listen to them, you can't see the excitement, you can't see the passion in them. And therefore, you are at a loss. You're wondering, will this person be able to take this business where it needs to be at the end of the day? Then thirdly, it's about focus. Edward Butler says, one man has enthusiasm for 30 minutes, another for 30 days, but it's the man who has it for 30 years who makes a success of his life. The question is, what kind of focus do you have for your business? Remember, focus, it's a center of interest. And you're saying, I want to concentrate on this one thing. I want to do things in this particular space. Safaricom has said they want to do things in the telco space, telecommunications, technology space rather. And they're saying everything we do, we're just putting our energies in the technology space. I'm sure Safaricom has had opportunities to do many other things that are not technology related, but they have chosen to stay in that particular space, and it becomes their center of focus. They concentrate so that they are good at it, and they do everything that relates to technology. That way, then they're able to filter and say, we will only do this, we will not do these other many things. We'll just concentrate on technology because that's what is going to make a difference in our enterprise. You make choices and choose, what will I do and what will I not do? I remember there's one time we went to visit a client with my former boss. And as we were listening to this client, after we did everything and then we left, my boss asked me, what's your take about this client? I said, I like this client. And he says, I don't like this client. I asked him, why don't you like this client? He told me this client is all over. He has no focus. There's not one specific thing we can say he does. He's doing, if I'm not wrong, that particular client was doing 3 or 4 different things in 4 different industries. And the question was, can we trust him with our money? And my boss said, no, I won't trust him with my money because I might give in for industry A and the money ends up in industry C. Yet the industry that I was interested in is industry A. Focus, center of interest, concentration, filter, and then make a choice of where you want to play. Sharpen your axe at the end of the day. What is to sharpen your axe? For me, to sharpen your axe is to know everything you need to know about that particular industry or that particular thing that you need to do. For Safaricom, it's about technology. And they have put all their resources and all their energy to make it happen. Same thing with Apple. They've put all their energies to make sure that they know anything that needs to be done in that space. Sharpen your axe so that you know everything that you need to know. Then check your chopping board. What is your chopping board? It's remember, for an axe, the axe is going to chop something. So check that your chopping board is well placed because you have the axe and there's what you need to do. So make sure that you've checked that your chopping board is at the right place so that when your axe falls, it falls at the right place. And then lastly, ask yourself, am I chopping the right thing? Because it's one thing to have the axe. It's not one thing to have a nice chopping board, by you chopping the right thing. At the end of the day, if it was wood that you're cutting, are you cutting wood? If it's technology, which part of technology are you playing in? So that's what focus is all about. You're sharpening your skills, you're sharpening your knowledge about this one thing, but more so you're saying, am I focusing on the right space in technology? Am I putting my energy at the right place? Because at the end of the day, as an investor, when I come to you, when the investor comes to you, the question they're asking, does this person know their space? Do they know their game? I like giving a very interesting story about tomatoes. And I was given this illustration by somebody. And they told me, Mike, there's this gentleman who used to grow tomatoes. And what did he do? He grew tomatoes and he used to sell them to somebody who would come to the farm to collect them. Then one day he went to the farm, to the market, and he found out that the person who was buying the tomatoes from him was selling them at double the price he was buying them from him. So for argument's sake, let's say he was buying them for $100 from him for a crate. When it went to the market, this broker or intermediary was selling them for $200. And this guy said, no, 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 this is crazy. Why should I let this guy make $100 and I do all the work? But then what did he do? He went and hired a truck. He came and harvested his tomatoes, and then he put them on the truck, and then he took them to the market and said, I am going to be the one to sell them for $200. And there he went. And the first day, there is no single person who talked to him. Why? Because the intermediaries colluded among themselves and decided they're not going to buy from him, and they'll make sure no one buys from him. And day one went, no or no sale. Day 2 went, no sale. Day 3 went, no sale. And he was selling tomatoes. They're perishable. By day 3, they were starting to overripen. By the 4th day, what he did is that he went and parked his truck, which was hired, on the roadside, poured all his tomatoes, and went back home. What am I saying? Stick to your lane. Focus. Stick to your lane. Are you a manufacturer? Stick to your lane. Are you a distributor? Stick to your lane, because you don't know the game plan and you don't know the things that happen in the next level. Sharpen your axe for where you're operating from. Look at the Asian businesses. Some of them amaze me to date. When I go to a street in Nairobi called Biashara Street, I always get amazed. There's one time I went to this particular shop, and this particular shop, this gentleman was purely selling buttons. He had red buttons, he had green buttons, he had yellow buttons, he had round buttons, he had square buttons, he had oblong buttons, he had all types of buttons. And all he was doing was selling buttons. And he was good at buttons. If you asked him for buttons for a dress, he would give you. If you asked him for a button for a jacket, he gives you. If you ask him for a button for a trouser, he gives you. Why? Because he's perfected it. He's sharpened his axe. At the end of the day, what are you doing? Richard Branson says business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. You don't need to get stressed and say that opportunity is going to miss you. Stay focused and keep to the one that you want to do. What are you chopping at the end of the day? Focus is the key word. Then your business, it's product versus needs. Are you trying to solve a need or are you selling a product? As an investor, I'm listening to that because if you're selling a product, chances is that you're going to get exhausted at a point. But if you're solving a need, it's always going to be different. Who is your client? Where does your client stay? Where is your client? Where are they located? And how do they need the product? Whose need is your solution meeting? And where is even this client? Are they located in the urban area? Are they located in the rural area? Are they located in the suburbs? Where are they located? Are they online? Are they physical? Location versus convenience. What are they looking for? Are they looking to come to your location? Are they looking for you to provide convenience for them? How do you reach that client at the end of the day? I'm listening to you. The investor is listening to you and trying to understand, do you understand your business? What is your business attempting to do? Google, you're the product at the end of the day. When I was told this, I found it very interesting. You're the product because at the end of the day, they're looking for data from you. But for Apple, it's the opposite. You're the customer. And that's why they provide an experience for you. And therefore, somebody talking to Apple, they get the comfort and the confidence of what it is that they're dealing with. Do you understand your business? Therefore, delight your customer, eliminate unnecessary costs, improve your product and services, and gain strength. That's what Warren Buffett says. And the investor is asking, can I trust you? If I gave you the money, can I trust you with that money? Then there's the market. I'm trying to ask myself, do you understand your market at the end of the day? Which industry are you playing? And how much do you know about that industry? How much do you know about your competition? Do you even understand your competition? Think of Coke. And the question is, do you think Coke understands their market? Who is Coke's competitor at the end of the day? And when Coke is strategizing, who do they worry about? Do you think they worry about Pepsi? I don't think they worry about Pepsi. I think they worry about the water, the water bottling companies, because that's where their competition is. When you feel thirsty, are you going to drink Coke or are you going to drink water? When you think of margarine, the Blue Band manufacturers in Kenya, the question they're asking themselves, who is our competitor? So is Blue Band's competitor Prestige? Or is Blue Band's competitor avocado at the end of the day? Because am I tempted to use an avocado on my bread as a spread as opposed to using margarine on my bread as a spread? Understand your competition understand your industry. That's what the investor is willing to listen to. I had an opportunity to listen to this gentleman who came looking for money from us. And he wanted to finish up a fuel station that he had put up. He was stuck in the middle, he needed funding. But as I listened to him, I got very worried. Why? Because I asked him, there's a fuel station, it was like 300 meters away from where he was. And the only question I asked him, there's a fuel station down the road from here where you're putting your station. How many liters does that station pump in a day? And he did not know. And I asked him, when I was coming to this station you're trying to put up, around 2 kilometers away, there's another fuel station that opened there 2-3 months ago. How many pumps does that station have? And he did not know. He didn't understand, in my opinion, he didn't understand his industry. He didn't understand his competition. And therefore, I was very worried asking myself, does this guy really understand who his market, what his market looks like? Does he understand who his client is? And when I asked him, who are you targeting for your fuel station? And he told me the matatu operators, the people who do public service vehicles. And I thought, that's a very narrow market that he's targeting because those operators are price sensitive. The next petrol station owner just needs to reduce the price by $1 and everything will change for him. Or just a few cents and everything will change for him. What's the impact of technology to your business? That's a question you need to be asking yourself. If something happened, like we've gotten AI coming and changing a lot of things, what is the impact of that to your business? And then last and not least, what is the impact of the different age groups to your business? Because not all age groups behave the same way. We've seen the disruption Gen Z has done to our country in Kenya. And the question is, what is the impact of the different age groups? How they behave, how they respond, and how they act? How is that going to affect your business at the end of the day? Anticipate the future, study the developing trends in an attempt to understand the client's challenges and their pain point. And that's at the end of the day is what is going to make a difference. Do you know your market? Then last and not least, it's about scalability. As an investor, I am worried, or any investor will be worried. Is your business scalable? Are you able to grow your business? Is it demand driven? What is the impact of structure or resources? Increase in size. Can you even increase your business at the end of the day? Are all businesses scalable? It's a question we should always ask ourselves. Or must all then businesses scale? I like looking at a barber shop as a very simple example to explain scalability. You have a business running a barber shop with 4 barbers. And these 4 barbers are able to offer a premium service for, let me see, at $2, $3, yeah, $3 for every haircut that you go get. No, $3 is little. Say $10 for $10 to get your hair done. So you have these 4 barbers, each of them doing $10, and therefore you're saying for each of them, I am willing to let them because they're charging $10 and the competition is charging $2 or $3. For them, for somebody to come for a $10 haircut, it means you've got to give them something unique. And that means the person comes and they can be able to spend 30 minutes to an hour being attended to. And you're okay with that because you have 4 barbers who are taking care of your customers. Now, imagine if you try to increase them from 4 to scale up and say, I want to increase them to 10. If you increase them to 10, the question is, you're increasing, and you're only being able to do it to serve one customer takes 30 minutes. The question is, Your neighbor is doing your neighbor barber shop has 10 barbers, but then the maximum they spend is 10 minutes with their client. So which means the level of service they're able to give is very different and the experience is different. But with the 10 barbers, how much money, how much will they be able to make compared to you who has 4 barbers charging $10 compared to them who are only charging $2? You can do that maths and see how it works out. And the question you're starting to ask yourself, do I run the barber with 4 barbers, the barber shop with 4 barbers, or do I run the barber shop with 10 barbers? Think through that and ask yourself, which makes sense and which offers more easier. You have 10 barbers, you have 10 people to worry about, you have more space to worry about, you have more products to keep purchasing, or do you deal with a 4, offer service and make slightly more money because you're charging almost 5 times what you'd be charging with the 10 barbers. So ask yourself, it's about scalability, it's about margins, versus volumes, it's about profit versus revenue. So what are you chasing at the end of the day? Is it the margin or is it the volume? Is it the profit or is it just the revenue? So as I close, the question that I'm posing to us is, just to summarize what I've said, do you have a clear vision for your business? Because remember, you're looking at it from the investor's point of view, and they're looking inwards and saying, can I see a clear vision in your business? Are you passionate about what you do? Do you have a clear focus? Do you understand your market? Do you understand your business? And lastly, is your business scalable? And maybe the question even further is it even necessary to scale it up? So let me pause there, Derek, so that if there are any questions, we can be able to take them, and just for a few minutes before we close. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was very stellar. I now open up the floor for any questions. Feel free to put your hand up. I see Lorraine has unmuted. Lorraine Minor, you want to go first?
No, sorry, it was a mistake. But thank you so much for the talk. It was really, really powerful. Yeah.
You're welcome. Sorry, it's Lorraine Minor, not Minor. Thank you for the clarity. Do we have any questions? Yes.
Good morning. I have a question and a comment. Thank you, Michael. I happen to know Michael, very impressive. This is so useful for me, and I think Michael knows I'm on a journey of sort of starting up. My question is really, when a pitch is for a nonprofit, do these components all apply? Because I think the struggle I'm having right now is really motivating for an investor to fund a program that doesn't necessarily generate attractive returns. And so I don't know if anyone has comments on this, Michael, or anybody else. I'll appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Joy. Thank you for that. Yes, do they apply? I would say yes. At the end of the day, because think about it this way, the end game is that there's something you're trying to do. In a for-profit organization, you're trying to make money, and the person who is investing in your business is saying, can I make money as you make money? In a non-profit environment, most of the time it's about impact. So what you're trying to do is to ask yourself, the person listening to me, the person I am trying to pitch to give me funding so that I can move this to the next level, are they going to get value by putting their money in my business? Are they going to get money in putting their money in their end? Looking for impact, what kind of impact are they looking for? So for example, they're looking at reducing poverty. So the question they're looking and saying, are you passionate about this event or this activity you want to do that is going to reduce poverty among the people you're trying to reach? At the end of the day, is trying to say, and that's where focus then comes in and saying, am I even connecting to the right investor? Because you don't want to connect to an investor who is pushing for a different agenda. You're pushing for poverty eradication. Their impact is different, and there's nothing wrong with that, but their impact is different, and you're both pushing. So what will happen is that eventually they'll pull you away from poverty eradication to something different. Why? Because of focus. So for me, it's about focus. Do they apply? Yes, they apply. So it's about making sure that you match and marry your objectives, your intentions to the one the investor has.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joy, for
Thank
that
you.
question. Thank you, Michael. We have Katrine. Katrine has a question.
Yeah, I want to first say thank you for the very good presentation. It was very, very clear and very comprehensive. My question is actually to TBN, because I believe we are many here who really worked hard to submit very strong pitches to TBN ahead of the conference in July. And at least for me, I would really appreciate if TBN would actually take time to review it and give us feedback on where are we doing right, where are we doing wrong, to get that qualified feedback on our pitch. That's one thing. And then the other thing is then when we then have had that review and we have revised it, because I'm sure you can pick out things that we can't see. We can't see the forest for the trees, right? We are right into it. So we need those external eyes. And then also there were a number of investors who came to Nairobi. What has come out of it? And is there a way that we can, with refined pitches, actually still follow up so that all that work that was put into that event in July, that we can actually start benefit from it? Like, for example, in Mwangaza, we never met anyone. Right? So we spent all that time on the pitch and it went to nothing. So this is an encouragement to TBN. Please, can you review and can we reconnect with those people who came because they were interested? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Katrine, for that. We will reach out to you like we had communicated earlier on in August last year, that we brought over 30 plus investors to your business. And Michael will attest to this, that investment conversations take time. And your pitch deck, yes, we will pursue these investors and ask them for the feedback about your particular pitch deck. And we will share that information with you. Personally, I'll reach out to you after this session. And the moment we get all this feedback from all the 30 plus investors that we brought to you, we'll be able to give you comprehensive feedback on how your pitch deck is and what can be changed and what cannot be changed. So on helping other entrepreneurs get to understand the details of their pitch decks, whether they work or they do not work, we will have many sessions like this. This is the first of many. This is a group session, because we do realize that we have many businesses we are introducing to investors, but some of them, their pitch decks do not cut it. And their pitch decks do not, their pitches do not cut it as well. So this is a mass kind of information dissemination to help disseminate information to as very many entrepreneurs as possible. And then we will have the one-on-ones to the ones that are willing to seek our help and are willing to put in the work to better their businesses, their pitch decks, and are willing to go the extra mile. So yes, we are doing something about it, and thank you for bringing it to our attention as well. Thank you. Let me look to the chat box. Michael has shared his contacts in the chat box. You can feel free to reach out to him as well. Do we have any questions? Any more questions? If it's not a question, maybe a comment, what stood out for you during the session, that would also be welcome. Yes, Sharon.
Yes, thank you so much. What stood out for me is the fact that you said we should focus. I think it is very important because most times as business people, sometimes you start something and then you see something else that is more profitable and then you jump onto it. And the fact that you said that business opportunities are like buses, they will always come. So we shouldn't rush into opportunities because we think that we are going to miss out on something. We should focus on something. And the story of the person who was selling tomatoes from the farm, it also stood out for me very much because it just showed that we all have strengths in different places and you should not do something just because you see someone else doing it. You should focus on something that you're doing. So it really stood out for me. Thank you so much. Also, maybe another question. About focusing. What if I'm focusing on something and it's not yielding any benefit? Like I've tried a business, I've done my best, and I'm failing to make profits, I'm failing to survive. What would you advise? Would you advise that I change the business line or I still focus on that very business? Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Interesting question there. There are two angles to it, the way I would look at it. One is maybe, like you say, it's time to change the business. But before I do that, the first question I would ask myself, have I done a good job on sharpening my axe in relation to that business? Do I understand that business? Am I doing am I doing the right things in relation to that business? Have I studied the client and understood who is my customer segment? Being able to clearly isolate and say, my customer segments are this one and this one and this one. Have I come up with a very clear value proposition to say, what is the value that I'm giving to this client? Then on top of that, I've established and said, what customer relationships will I have with these clients? And then last and not least, besides the customer relationships, what channels will I identify the value proposition you're giving to that customer segment, identify the relationship you want to have with that customer segment, and then last and not least, what is the channel I'm going to use to reach that? Because once you crack those four, then you are able to start saying, then my revenue will come in this form and it will start coming. Now, if you miss one of these, it's very easy to say the business is not working, it has failed, let me change focus and go to something else. But at times it's just being patient, a little more patient and cracking those four areas, in my opinion, that makes the difference. I've tried to summarize a very long conversation, Sharon, to answer your question.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sharon, for that question. In the chat box, thank you for the compliments towards TBN. Well received. I see questions, will we get funding? You will get funding if you put everything right in place. And TBN has different avenues to help you get everything right in place. And my feedback to many entrepreneurs in most cases is, if feedback is given, act on it. Sometimes entrepreneurs will not want to sit down and work on the pitch decks. Sometimes the entrepreneurs will not want to sit down and work on their business plans and work on their business proposals and work on their growth plans and work on their Some of them don't even provide the correct financial statements. And sometimes it becomes hard for us to help you raise money because the financial statements that you're providing with us have issues. They are not true. They are not correct. Sometimes entrepreneurs don't have the business plans in place. And even when we share the templates for them to fill in the business plans, they are not willing to put in the work. One example that Mike gave is a consultant is good in helping you work on your pitch deck and work on your business plan, but the consultant's end is the money. They'll get the money and go away. And if you are not involved in the process of making the pitch deck, the process of making the business plan, the process of making the business model canvas, you will not have the passion to defend that document when we put you before an investor. And an investor will know that you as the owner, an investor will know that you as the owner of the business did not author the document. So TBN is committed to helping you work on the different documents that investors want you to have before you get the investment. Our call to action is that, will you put in the time? Will you consider the feedback and make the adjustments? Lastly, Mike, if you could help to put the slide where what entrepreneurs see and what the investors see. If you could go back to that slide.
Just a minute, I'm just trying to get back to my slides.
Are you willing to pay the price as an entrepreneur?
This one or this one?
I think the screen is still coming up. Yes, that one. It's
Okay.
going to questions. It's going to the questions. If you could go up.
Sorry. Okay, let me just go back.
Yes, that one. So the investor's view. As TBN, we will always facilitate the process of you clarifying your vision, clarifying your business focus, understanding your business, and helping you determine whether the business is scalable or not, and whether you understand the market or not. And we always share a list of gatekeeper documents, basic gatekeeper documents. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of the entrepreneurs, and she's looking for investment. We want her to get investment. But here is the problem. When we ask for financial statements, she makes the client sometimes to pay money in her personal bank account. And sometimes clients pay in the company bank account. So here is the problem. Before the investor, what goes to your personal bank account is not part of the business, because it's not reflecting in the financial statements. So it's a flag to the investor. Why? It means that there is no separation between the company money and the personal money. And if I invest in your business, you can easily divert that money into something else. So what do? The advice is you need money, but right now, the kind of investors that we have want to see traction. They want to see that you are bankable and that you have one standard bank account where money is going, because they want to see your capacity, how much are you getting in, and how do you have the capacity to repay back that money. So yes, we will help you raise the money, and feel free to reach out. It's a process. We'll give you the documents that are needed, and we will help you get the documents filled in. But one commitment that we make to you here publicly is we will not fill in the documents for you. At TBN, we never do that. We would like you, the entrepreneur, to fill in the documents with our guidance. Because by that, you own the document and you can defend it even in our absence, before any funder, before any investor. I hope that helps. There are some questions from do we in Namibia stand a chance for investors on this platform? Will investors come to Namibia? Priscilla, just leave your contact in the chat box. We will reach out to you. If you're looking for investment, this is the email address that you can write us on. programs@tbnetworkafrica.org. One of my team members will be writing that email in the address. Take note of that email address. programs@tbnetworkafrica.org. And we'll reach out to you and we will start the investment conversation with you. We have come to the end of our session today. And thank you so much, the 54 of you that have honored us with the offer to attend the first webinar of the year. We appreciate you very much. We've had people logging in from South Africa, from Namibia, from across Nairobi, from all across Uganda. If there is any country that I have not mentioned, please just put it in the chat box and we'll mention that as well. The email has been shared where you can reach out to us. We thank you so much. This recording will be shared to all of you who have attended the session today. Mike has shared his email address. Feel free to reach out to him as well. And two more announcements that I would like to make is we will be having monthly webinars. If you can mark this on your calendar, the webinars will be every Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. every third week of every month. Every third week of every month on a Wednesday. So you go to your calendar every third week of every month on a Wednesday between 9 to 10 a.m. That is East African time. That is 8 a.m. in South Africa or Southern Africa. So we'll be sharing the details of what we'll be talking about in these webinars. Feel free to sign up and log in. That's announcement number one. Announcement number two is we have an investment readiness cohort that is starting on 7th of March. My colleague will be sharing the registration link. In case you would like to register for that cohort, feel free to click on that link and sign up for that investment readiness cohort. It's 3 months, and we help your business go through the entire investment readiness process. The things that Mike has itemized, we go through them in depth. Then the last announcement is we have a boot camp that is coming up on the 5th of February. That is for the businesses in Uganda. It's going to be a physical boot camp. It's 1 day. It's going to be at our offices. A registration link will still be shared on the chart here below. But feel free to reach out to us using the email that has been shared. The cohort is open for anyone from across the world. It's an investment readiness cohort. Feel free to sign up and we'll be able to take you through the investment readiness process. Other, thank you so much for the feedback. Katrin, we've taken note of your comment. After this session, I'm going to reach out to you on WhatsApp and we'll pick up the conversation. My colleague has shared the link for the upcoming cohort. Feel free to share, feel free to sign up and feel free to share the same with other entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for...
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. Maybe before we log off, if you could just turn on your videos and we see your successes if you're in position to. Teddy, thank you for logging in. Teddy is one of the entrepreneurs from South Africa. He runs a photography business. If you happen to have someone in South Africa who needs someone to take their pictures or videos, beyond that,
Hi, Teddy.
yeah, he even does commercials. You can send the recordings to him and he'll be able to do a very good video editing for you and run a good commercial, a good advert for your business. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, Eva, Natasha. These are some of the entrepreneurs in our current cohort that is ending in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for logging in. We hope this has been of value to you.
It is.
Odipo, thank you for logging in. Lynette, Wesley. Wesley was in, I think, cohort number 4 of TBN. That is in 2019. He's still stuck with us. Thank you so much for being there with us all throughout the entire time and responding to our calls whenever we have them. So thank you so much. Feel free to leave at leisure. Have a good week ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
Good day.
very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.